I took a different approach for this report. Since returning from summer, I have found a greater tension on campus among my colleagues across all levels: classified, management, part-time faculty, and full-time faculty. Many who have spoken to me have expressed a lack of trust and a fear of reprisals for speaking out, or have stated that they feel that no one is listening since nothing changes. So I offered to all faculty for this month's report an anonymous form where they could provide their comments to this board. I asked them for any comments, positive, negative, suggestive, and directed that this was not a space for personal attacks. Any edits, which were minimal, are noted in brackets. These are 15 faculty voices in their own words, and I would ask that you allow me to read these in their entirety despite surely going over my allotted time. And these are quotes. The board needs to get over their own bickering and politics long enough to recognize that the entire leadership team are clueless about what is happening in the classroom. Leadership doesn't provide us the support we need when we ask for it, and often they don't even respond to emails. I've never felt less supported by leadership, from president to VPI to dean, than I have in the past year. Frankly, if I were at the start of my career, I'd be moving on to another college because this has become a terrible place to work, and that's what I'm recommending to new faculty. I have worked at COD for over 20 years. The current state of the college is the worst I've ever experienced. I feel as a faculty member I'm not valued or respected for what I need to do in my job correctly. The technology is beyond disappointing and leaves gaps in the ability to perform my job. I come in and occasionally my office computer will work, and then I go into class and maybe the technology in the class will work. I call for assistance and I can't leave a voicemail, and I can't log in a work order because I can't get onto my computer. The atmosphere is bleak. Let's get back to the business of student success being the priority and having the tools and technology working consistently. I cannot believe we have allowed our technology to suffer in such a manner and not act with a sense of urgency. I've been teaching here for 14 years. Love my time here. This year is almost worse than during COVID. There are gaps in responding in services. You have to ask several times to get a response. Maybe. I teach without gaps or delays. My students can count on me and get back to them and make sure, I hope, hold up my end. Yes, there are staffing issues at COD. However, faculty and staff that are going without support staff to grade. However, faculty or staff that keep going without support staff to grade work, respond to concerns, teach, and listen. Please respect this. Let's get COD back on track to be great. Thank you. Adjuncts were promised an off-schedule payment in July that was negotiated to pay out 2.5% of an individual's fiscal year earnings. For some adjuncts, this amount distributed did not match what was promised in the collective bargaining agreement. Only the fall and spring semesters were accounted for in the calculation. Some adjuncts who are lucky enough to work year-round have not been given the full fiscal year amount and have been left in the dark by payroll and HR about the status of the remaining payment that is owed. It's great that our campuses are open to in-person learning. However, there are structural issues pertaining to technology on the campuses that are demoralizing for those of us who teach in person. For example, the Wi-Fi, internet, and phone connections on the Indio campus are regularly provided spotty at best access to our students, faculty, and staff who work there. This is not only an issue in Indio. On the Palm Desert campus, this was a week or so ago, and now again this week, students are unable to access the COD website and Canvas from the computers in the library. This is humiliating to try and serve our students when our own services are not functioning again and again and again. Why can't students log in with their MyCOD credentials on any computer on any campus? This would make the computer safer and that the user is easily identifiable. Most community colleges have this structure in place. Why not at COD? After the malware attack, I had hoped the IT structures would be better resourced and strengthened. Instead, it seems like a show. We want it to appear that the campus is alive and back, but the technology required for that liveliness is not functioning at a functional level for 21st century learning. Please stop saying that faculty did not have input in the Palm Springs campus. I am a tenured faculty member, and I recall many offers to join the Facilities Master Plan Committee. Additionally, once planning for the campus began, I was on a task force with many other faculty members to discuss design for the campus. It is extremely frustrating to hear false information be relayed to the public. The lack of personal announcements at COD now is shocking. One of the most important aspects of a strong, positive organizational culture is the trust employees have in their bosses. 78% of employees who trust their employers advocate on behalf of their organizations. High trust cultures have a 50% lower turnover rate than those with low trust cultures. One of the best ways to build trust and loyalty in a company is with a good onboarding process for new hires and a civil exit process for unintended turnovers. A small but meaningful ingredient in the entry and exit of employees is a positive personnel announcement. Don't make us find out about someone leaving through the posting of a job opening. Don't make us guess who is now in a job we rely on. This is small, but it might help to begin repairing trust within the organization. Board member qualifications. Unless a board member has been a long-term full-time instructor, college administrator, or superintendent president, the board member doesn't have the prerequisite qualifications to serve appropriately and put the college above personal agenda and gain. However, this weakness can be mitigated by a strong, experienced, independent, and analytical superintendent president who can lead the board in the right direction for the college. Conversely, a weak, independent superintendent president hired with bias and agenda becomes nothing but the pawn of an ineffectual, experienced board intent on self-service and further personal agendas. I am not saying Martha Garcia is this person. But having watched the forum where Ruben Perez said Monterey is the dividing line, everyone west of Monterey lives in their own bubble, and the people east of Monterey agree with us, tells me at least one member of the board has a giant personal agenda. Why spend thousands of dollars on television advertising to increase enrollments when the phones won't take messages and students can't reach anyone? The campus directories for each division are all out of date. This should be mandatorily maintained by chairs and admins. Why does the board quibble about what the new place is to set up a campus when the infrastructure of the campuses that already exists is not maintained? The board has an agenda and the president directs the resources to suit the board's agenda. The college is going to lose. For example, why are we focusing on expanding East Valley when Mecca couldn't even fill classes in gen ed psychology that everyone needs? The main campus is Palm Desert with hubs in Mecca, Cathedral City. Is that where the CAR program is now? And Palm Springs. Spend COD money to maintain the infrastructure of these campuses, expanding on these campuses, to focus on the East Valley for another new campus max of lining the board lining its pockets. There has been a demonstrated lack of concern and urgency regarding our current staffing crisis. The BOT's suggestion that this is a national issue is even more concerning. The absence of action and ignorant comments demonstrate the root of the problem. The leaders of this college do not care about the morale of the workplace, the stress of their employees, nor the state of the college. The staffing crisis is a direct testament to the leadership. People leave bosses, not jobs. Furthermore, comments from leadership about the number of resignations received each week and how people are replaceable are a testament to the attitude about the current issues. If you continue your current perceptions of our concerns, you will continue to see more people leave. This exodus has a direct impact on our students and their success. The campus is a mess, no resources, internet has poor connection and often kicks us out. When we report it, we are told there's nothing wrong. Losing the email has been a nightmare, and most of us still do not have the lost emails. The bookstore is non-functional. Information on website is not correct, no response to emails. The books listed are wrong, then students are given attitude when they try to return. When they return them, student emailed the bookstore regarding this issue, no response, and when the bookstore opened, she was told she used the wrong email address. It is the one listed on their website. Payroll is a disaster. How can you not pay people? Totally unprofessional. Makes me wonder if any of our paychecks are accurate. HR cannot even keep track of employees and how long they have been working at COD. I have had to correct them and they still have it wrong and have never acknowledged my milestones, brought to their attention multiple times and never acknowledged or addressed. Unfortunately, the trust in the board members and the administration of the college is none. There seems to be a hidden agenda and they only tell the public and the employees of the college what they want them to hear and avoid answering questions with honest, direct answers. COD used to be a pillar of the desert communities and now we are looked at as a joke. Absolutely devastated by the college being run into the ground, COD is now focused on greed and no longer about education. To the Board of Trustees, College of the Desert, it is with heavy heart and ongoing frustration that I submit these comments. As a full-time faculty member of 20 plus years at College of the Desert, I'm dismayed and disheartened at the state of dishevelment and dysfunction that our college is in. I think I can speak for many of my faculty and other COD colleagues as well when I say that the confusion, lack of transparency, and honesty coming from our board and administration on a steady basis during this academic year as well as our past academic years, deeply concerning and just plain unacceptable. In my 20-plus years at COD and in previous teaching positions at several other community colleges and high schools, in districts both small and large, I've never experienced anything close to the lack of degradation and disrespect that I have endured at COD recently with our current leadership. And the level of morale generated by this is having a deeply negative effect on our faculty, other employees, and students. The negative billboards on I-10 focused on College of the Desert's failure to follow through on previous plans for development of the Palm Springs campus, and continued coverage on these controversies in the local press are very stressful for us and further bring our individual and collective morale down to levels I've not experienced ever in all of my years here. We are all caught in the middle of this ugliness with nowhere to go, and it's so negatively impactful. It is unacceptable that COD is no longer, as it's been for many years, a safe harbor of higher education, student support, and academic excellence, a shining star in our community, but instead an unwelcoming blight in the Coachella Valley, caught in the middle of a shady political battle instigated by our Board of Trustees and Dr. Garcia. And unfortunately, there are many other glaring items of concern I would like to register, inasmuch as they are negatively affecting faculty, causing undue and unprecedented duress, and convey that our Board of Trustees and Dr. Garcia not only do not respect our faculty, but seemingly and quite openly don't respect us at all, and by proxy don't respect our hardworking current and prospective students. Here are a few of these concerns as follows. Lack of transparency and communication from an administration towards faculty regarding crucial issues such as the timely hiring and replacement of many important full-time tenure-track positions due to many retirements here in the past 2 years. Lack of direction and communication for faculty teaching summer school in 2022 during the extended ransomware attack. Repeated significant disruptions to faculty payroll and 403B contributions with little or no explanation, inflicting emotional chaos and financial hardship. Thank you for reading my statements. I write with heavy heart and regret, but having given these matters a lot of thought, not only recently, but for many months now, I feel obligated to speak at this time with my concerns. I am hopeful that we can all work together to reach a place of healing and resolve, but at this point, these hopes are dim. COD has always been a place I've been so proud to work for and represent our community and beyond for many years, but now I feel sick and degraded every time I step onto campus. Someone asked that we fill the tenure track chemistry position, and I'm happy to say that we're recruiting for 2 tenured chemistry faculty and then 16 other tenured track positions as well, so this is good. Somebody also commented on the need to prioritize working conditions in the East Valley, but I'm also pleased to note how much work is already being done here, but we must become proactive and not reactive moving forward, and we must sustain all of our campuses at the highest of standards. A positive, the Career and Workforce Solutions Center hosted the Fall 2022 Career and Job Fair on Thursday, October 13th, 2022, and it was a huge success. This was the first in-person fair since the COVID-19 pandemic. With more than 100 students in attendance and more than 25 employers, it was great seeing our employer, student, and campus communities being so engaged with one another. Students were introduced to various opportunities, and the energy was felt throughout the day with COD Roadrunner Radio playing music that everyone enjoyed. In preparation for the fair, career counselors facilitated various skill-building workshops for students and alumni. Negative is we still do not have access to voicemail, nor do we have access to resources needed for working remotely, such as connection to the VPN and Jabber, which allows us to access our phone lines remotely. The below comments are from an adjunct and a queer woman of color who wanted this to be noted. She said, the state and the college have put so much effort and time into hiring a diverse workforce, but there's still disparity in leadership. This seems that the college is not fully realizing its efforts. Thus, I want to advocate for a more comprehensive supervisor evaluation process. This would allow for the college to weed out ineffective supervisors and those supervisors that don't support diversity. Performance evaluations, supervisors, directors, deans, VP, a bottom-up approach where there is an equal weight of the total evaluation from direct reports to give input on the supervisor under review. This needs to be a necessary aspect of the evaluation, and thus a performance evaluation is deemed incomplete without it. This will help support those supervisors who are good leaders and also give a greater perspective to the effectiveness of their job performance. At least 5 direct reports, or 33% of the direct reports, whichever is larger, will fill out a supervisor evaluation. Evaluations will be anonymous unless chosen otherwise by a reviewer. The direct report evaluation will include questions related to how the supervisor upholds institution culture and diversity values. And then for the final comment, I personally wanted to apologize for including this, as I believe it stemmed from a faculty's misunderstanding about the MQ process. I did add a footnote about that process. I would encourage any faculty who believe that they have the MQs to teach in another area to reach out to me or to review the equivalency process that we do have, and I've made reference to that. Thank you for allowing me the extra time. I do appreciate it.
Sure thing. Thank you, Dr. Dozier.